Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dr. Taylor, Aspire Chiropractic. Today, I want to talk about something that, man, it runs into this office all the time. Headaches, right? So, generally speaking, we're going to talk about three different kinds of headaches. We're going to talk about a tension headache, a migraine headache, and a cluster headache. Now, really kind of easy to discriminate between the two. Tension. Number one, we'll do a little anatomy here. Here's the base of your skull. There's your spine. Okay, so you got a bunch of tiny little muscles right here, right at the top of your spine, kind of right back there, right in the base of your skull, and they feed right up into there. Now, one important thing we've got to note going through this whole thing, right? If you watch any of these videos, we touch on this all the time. We've got our brain up top here, and we've got our spinal cord that goes down our spine, and coming off of our spinal cord is every single nerve in your body. Now, it's really easy to see where the nerves in your body go because more often than not, whatever's right in front of that area of the spine, that's the organ that they go to, right? Everyone knows they control the muscles of the sensations and things like that, but they also carry the message from the brain in the body telling it how to work. Now, these ones right up here, I mean, there's not a whole lot in the front of your neck, okay? So the nerves that come out of the top of your spine, where do they go? They come out of your brain, down your spinal cord, and they curve right back up into the head. So if we've got these tiny muscles back here attached to our spine and attached to our skull, those nerves go in a route over and through all of them here. So if we get these things all kind of spazzed up, those muscles can pinch on nerves just like a bone out of place can. Now, speaking of bone out of place, if we take a peek at this here really quick, we're going to zoom in. Now, we're still looking at you from behind. Generally speaking, these are what the vertebrae look like, right? These are what your backbones look like. And these nerves here are coming from between each and every one of these bones. So they stick out here just like that. Here's our spinal cord going down the middle. These nerves come right out through there. Now, what happens is, whether we're talking about our skull, which is still a bone, or these vertebrae here in the neck, these things can get bent, torqued, twisted. And when they do that, they put pressure right there on these nerves. Now, if this nerve happens to be the same nerve as this one, it goes right back up into your head. What do you think is going to happen if you got a bone out of place or a muscle spasm pinching on that nerve? We're going to get a headache. Now, we talked about the tiny little muscles here. If we draw a couple more bones in here, say this is our mid-back. We've got our shoulder blade here. There's another one that goes right through here, man. You get a subluxation right there, right in the top of your middle back. It'll screw up your scapula, and it'll cause a spasm in this muscle right here. And this is the headache you get that actually starts in your shoulder blade, okay? Where you're sitting there, you're working 40 hours a week, you're at your computer, you're on your phone, you're driving to the office, and you feel the stabbing right back here. You can almost put your finger right on it. And then the day goes on, you run into a couple more stupid people, and you get asked a couple more dumb questions, and all of a sudden that thing starts to creep up, and now you're feeling it right back here, and then it wraps all the way up around your head. That's a headache that you get that actually started in your mid-back. So those are really common ones that walk through these offices. Some kind of tension headache. Headache due to a bone out of place, putting pressure on a nerve or pulling on a muscle. Next one, migraine. Now, I'm fortunate enough, I've never experienced a migraine, but migraines can be tricky. Why is that? Because you can have all kinds of different causes of a migraine. So we're going to go back here, looking at the base of the skull. There's our spine. Now we're going to zoom in on the top two bones in the neck. So the very top one here, it's called your atlas. Atlas is a Greek god. He held up the world, right? Then the next one here, we'll erase that. We'll draw this in here. This is going to be your axis. Now, this is C2, the second bone in your neck. Going back to these nerves here, generally speaking, and wonderfully enough, is actually a chiropractor that figured this out. His name is BJ Palmer. He figured out that your brainstem actually extends down into C2. Some people all the way down as far down as C3 into your spinal column. So when you get a subluxation of C1 or C2, it's not so much pinching a nerve as it is literally putting pressure on your brainstem. Now, what goes on in your brainstem? That takes care of all like let's call it the lizard functions, right? The stuff you don't have to think about. Your brainstem controls your blood pressure, your heart rate, your digestion, all the stuff that you're not consciously aware of throughout the day. Proprioception, knowing where your body is in space. So initially we talked about a bone out of place, a subluxation, putting pressure on a nerve or pulling on a muscle that can cause that tension headache. Here we're literally putting pressure on the brainstem, literally putting pressure on part of your brain. So that's where that whole migraine thing comes in. You'll get the aura that comes around. You know, you just want a dark room. These things can also be caused by just, you hear people like, I changed my laundry detergent. I started getting migraines. So migraine is not just a brainstem problem, it is literally a brain problem. So these are things that we have to differentiate. If you walk in here, hey doctor, I have a headache. Okay, what kind of headache? When does it come on? What kind of symptoms do you experience? Things like that. Now, the last one, these things walk in here too. It's called a cluster headache. Oddly enough, and I'm not sure the reason why, more often than not, happens in men, okay? And we got here, there's an eye, he's kind of sleepy, right there. He's unhappy because he's got a headache. Now, these things present as basically just a cluster of pain right around the eye. More often than not, it's going to be the left eye, okay? So this is as we're looking at the guy, right? So left eye going on there. Sometimes you'll feel along that side of the head. And these things, these are ones that wake you up. They're also called, more often than not, or maybe in some cases, a thunderclap headache, right? And DER, thunderclap headache, because you're calm, you're asleep, and then boom, 2:30 in the morning, bam, just right in the side of your head, okay? And these things too go right back to the spine. Because again, where do all these nerves come from? We've got the spine right here. Those nerves at the top of the neck, they wrap around right up into the head. So if we've got bones out of place, if we've got subluxations, putting pressure on nerves, wherever those nerves go, that's where we're going to feel the symptoms, okay? So we might think about, like, what is sciatica? Sciatica is pressure on a nerve in the low back. What's the symptom? Numbness and tingling going down the leg. Don't Google this, but you can kind of think about a headache is like sciatica of the head and face. Basically, pressure on a nerve, and we feel that pressure and that pain wherever it is that nerve ends. And in this case here, we're talking about the headaches. Those nerves end in the head. That's where these things come from. Now, the best part about this whole thing is headaches are right in chiropractors' wheelhouses, okay? All we do is assess the bones of the spine. All we do is judge the health, wellness, and well-being of the nerves that come out of the spine. There are 24 bones in this thing, right? It's a flexible bony tube. All you're supposed to do is bend and move and twist, and there should be next to no pressure on any of these nerves. If there is, that's where we come into play. After a careful exam of every single bone in your spine, we take a set of x-rays so we can literally visualize the problem, and not only that, but show it to you to figure out exactly where it is we have to fix. Where is this pressure coming from that's causing these headaches or this numbness or this tingling, these symptoms? That's what we do day in and day out. And I'll tell you what, right here at Aspire, we do it as good or better than anybody else. So if you're suffering from headaches, or you work with someone who's suffering from headaches, or God forbid, you live with someone who's suffering with headaches, have them walk right through that door, give our office a call. We're ready to help you when you're ready to be your best, naturally.